Well, hello. In this video I'd like to share with you a little creative tip on how to create a custom poster like this in Lightroom. Now at one time I would have probably done this in Photoshop, but it would not have been that easy. I'd have had to crop the images square, possibly use masks to do it, and in the end it wouldn't be that easy to change out the images for a different set. But all that changes now in Lightroom. It's now easy peasy to make this template in the print module, and it's dead easy then to change out the images. Now there is a tiny bit of Photoshop involved, and it's the text at the bottom. Now this can be as simple or as elaborate as you like, as it's saved out as a JPEG image from Photoshop, and Lightroom can use it as a custom identity plate. Well, let's dig in. Okay, first let's select some images. Well, over here I've got a folder called Print, and if I click on that you'll see that I've got, down here on the film strip view, I've got a lot of images in this folder. I just press the G key to go into grid view, and you can see here that I've got loads of images in this folder. The majority of them are from RAF Waddington, which is what I want the poster to be about. Now there's 9 images in the grid, so I need to select 9 images. So I'll just drag this little slider to make the thumbnails a little bit smaller, and I'll select the 9 I want. So I'll just select the first 9. So I'll hold the shift key down and click on that. So there you can see them selected as well in the film strip. So I've now got 9 images selected that I want to use. I'm going to go now to the print module. Now all the magic happens here under layout style, and what I need is a single image contact sheet layout style, and there's several of them in here. Here I've got a 14x6, 15x7, doesn't matter which one you start with, but it's also showing the first of the images that I've got selected. So how do we go on? Well, let's start with image settings. Well, here I'd like each of the images to fill the cell, so I want zoom to fill ticked. I want everything the right way up, so I want rotate to fit ticked as well. Okay, next we'll go to layout, and this is where the magic happens. First we'll look at the margins. So let's move these margins in, and we'll move it to about 1 inch. Can be a bit fiddly, so I'll type that in. We'll go for 1 inch, and on the right hand side we'll mirror that with 1 inch again. Now the top, we can move that up and down. Bottom, we can move that up and down. Okay, let's start with a grid. Well, we do that in page grid. At the moment we set to 1 row and 1 column. Let's go for 3 rows and 3 columns. There we are. We can see the start of a grid happening. We can position it a little bit better using the bottom and the top sliders. And also we can put some spacing in between the cells. So we'll just open those up a bit on the vertical, and we'll open it up a little bit on the horizontal. And this is looking pretty good, what I want. We can also change the height of the cells, but we're not really going to get much out of that. And a little tick box at the bottom here that I want to is keep square, and that will make sure that each one of the images, no matter what shape it is, ends up being square. So now I just need to do a little bit of fiddling with the spacing again. Just drop that in, something like that. Then I can use my top slider and the bottom slider to bring it down a little bit. I think that looks cool. I'm going to leave it at that anyway. Right, so now what I want is to change the background colour. So I'm going to go down to the page tab, and I'm going to click on background colour, and I'd like this to be black, so I'm going to select black for the background colour. Okay, looking good. I now want the identity plate to put on the bottom here. So I'm going to go and ask for an identity plate. And initially it brings out the one that I'm using up here, which is my main identity plate. You can see it here, it's only small, but I can drag to make it bigger. But that's not the one I want. I've actually made one and imported it into Lightroom. So I'm going to click this little triangle here and I'm going to click on Edit. And now we've got the identity plate editor. So I'm going to click on Locate File and then I'm going to navigate to my Lightroom work file and my identity plate folder where I've got an identity plate called RAF Waddington. I'm going to click on that and click to open and then click OK. And now I can click this and I can make it bigger to fill that space up. Right, just as a finishing touch, I'd like a little white border all the way around these images cells. So if I go up to the top here, you can see there's something called a stroke border. And if I click that, it's now put a black stroke border around. Well, black against black, you can't see it. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to change that to white. And now with this width slider I can make it either thicker or thinner. Well, I like it very thin, so I'm just going to leave it at that. Well, that's now finished and looking good. All I need to do now is to save it out. Now there's two things I can do. I can go up here and create a saved print. Now what this will do is it'll save it, but it will save it with these particular images in. So if I bring it up again, I'll always get these images. So I'm going to click on that and we'll call this Waddington and I'll click Create. And this now appears as a collection down at the bottom of the collection is called Waddington, and it's a print collection. So if I click on that and print it, will always print these images. Well, I also want the flexibility to be able to use other images, so I'm going to save it out as a template. So if I go up to the top here where you see template browser, if I click on the plus, and I'll now save it out as a template called Waddington. Oops, spell that right. And it will save it in user templates. So now if I scroll down to user templates, you can see now that I've got a template called Waddington. And the difference is with the template I can use other images. Now if I finish this and I find really one of the images I'm not that keen on, then all you've got to do is locate that image. Let's say it's this one, and control click to switch it off, and then control click on another image to bring it back in. Of course we haven't got any other images, we've just brought them 9, but if you had some others you could easily swap them images out. Okay, that's it. How to make a custom poster in Lightroom in the print module with just a little tiny bit of Photoshop tagged on. I hope you enjoyed that. I'll see you in the next video.